Hello, this is a short video that's going to talk about how to set up a business card with Bleed and just a couple of the little pitfalls that you'll see when you're first getting started with InDesign. And this is for a printed project. So we're going to go under File and say New Document. And what you'll see here is you'll see that everything's in points and picas. Most of the specifications that you'll get in this program are in inches, so I just want to show you how to switch all your settings over to inches before you begin. So under InDesign, Preferences, and Units and Increments. So if we select that, right at the very top you can see horizontal and vertical measurements. We're going to change it to inches on both. Then we say OK, and that's application based. So now, as long as your application is open, everything will be inches in your measurements. Come back to New and say Document, and you will see here that it's inches. So there's two ways you can do this. There is some custom ones built in, so US business card is what we're looking for. Or you can just type it in here yourself, 3.5, tab, and then 2 inches. For business cards, the other thing we have to think about is kind of what we talked about in the lecture was the live area. So we want to put a margin of 0.125, which is 1/8 of an inch, and exactly the same bleed, 0.125. Okay, and then we say OK to that document. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit so we can see the entire document and we can discuss what's on the page. So the black line is where it's going to be trimmed. This is your 3.5 by 2. This is your margin. So this is live area inside this box. And out here is your bleed. So basically the way bleed works is if you create anything on the page, like you want a blue bar across the top, I'm going to come here to swatches, go to fill and say blue bar, stroke of none. All you need to do is snap that blue bar so that it touches your bleed line. Okay, so we've discussed what bleed is. It's basically image that goes off the edge of the page, so when this product gets cut, there's blue on either side of the cut. This is what you see, and all this ink back here will be discarded. Okay, this would be no good because you're going to be losing your bleed at this top edge. Okay, so just consider this red line, the bleed line, sort of a reminder to bring everything out. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to place an image on this page and just show you how images work with bleed as well. So under File, Place, we'll grab an image, we'll say OK, and place it on the page. So we'll see here that the image we've placed is obviously much larger than our business card. So if we zoom way out, we'll see the dimensions of the card, like the size or the dimensions of the image, the size of the image in relationship to our business card. So this is like about 4 or 5 times as big as the business card. If we, with our selection tool, if we hold down Shift and Command, grab it in the corner so you'd see 2 little arrows show up and resize this image down like that. Then we'll zoom back in. We can say zoom in or fit page to window, which is Command 0. That's a good one to learn. So I'm going to do that one, Command 0. Zoom out just a little bit with Command minus button. And now we can talk about the bleed of an image. So if you want the image to sit like this, obviously this doesn't bleed. You have to make sure that you bring the image out to the bleed like that. Okay, but then you have to decide, well, do I want the front of the truck cut off? Or maybe my design is better off going to this side so that this back part of the truck is cut off. If you want to see how your file is going to preview after it's trimmed, there is a preview selection up here. Right now it's normal, so we see our pasteboard, our live area, our bleed, and everything. If you go to preview, this is what it's going to look like after it's trimmed. Okay, so just one little pitfall. The most common mistake people make, new graphic designers and new people to our industry, is they quite often leave an image like that, and then, or even, better example would be this, and this is exactly how they want it to look when it gets trimmed. so that there's this distance here, and this is basically the cropping of the image. The issue is when it comes to the printing company and we have to add bleed here, the only way for us to add bleed is to move the image out. So then your cropping has changed. Okay, so now we're looking at this situation. So consider those sorts of things when you're setting up a document. And just to review, under document setup, it's 3.5 by 2, and your bleeds are right here. If you forget to set them at the beginning, you can set them anytime under document setup. And then your margins are up here under layout, and they're also at 1/8 of an inch, and this is just for a business card. So remember to put on that line and drag everything out to it like that, and you shouldn't have any trouble with your printed products. Good luck.